Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to another session of this course on Islamic inheritance law, in which we shall be looking at the inheritance law related to the illegitimate child. In Islamic law, for a child to be regarded as legitimate, the child must be conceived within a valid marriage. Sharia determines legitimacy through clear principles, including the minimum and maximum periods of pregnancy, and also through the acknowledgement of paternity by the father where applicable. However, there is a fundamental rule. A child conceived outside of marriage, what is termed walad az-zina, does not inherit from the biological father, nor from the father's blood relatives, and the father likewise does not inherit from the child. This is a well-established principle in Islamic inheritance law. In matters of lineage, Islam follows the prophetic rule. The child belongs to the marriage bed, al-walad lil-firash, meaning paternity is legally attributed to the husband of the mother, not merely to biological claim. Motherhood, however, is always clear in Sharia. The mother is the woman who gives birth to the child. An illegitimate child cannot be legitimized later through claims, acknowledgement, or social recognition. There is scholarly discussion about whether a child born to an unmarried woman can ever be attributed to the biological father. However, the majority of scholars hold the position that such a child is not attributed to the adulterer, and lineage is not established through adultery, zina. So Islamic law protects lineage through marriage, clarity of descent, and firm legal principles. Not merely biological connection, but lawful relationship. The minimum gestation period is established in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Luqman, verse 14, and also in Surah Al-Ahqaf, verse 15, that a child cannot be born before 6 lunar months. Scholars are unanimous on this point. The minimum gestation period is 6 lunar months. Now, according to Hanfi fiqh, the presumption of legitimacy, that is, considering a child to be the lawful child of the husband, begins from the moment the marriage contract is made. However, the other three Sunni schools of thought, Shafi'i, Maliki, and Hanbali, hold that legitimacy is presumed only after the marriage is consummated, whether this is acknowledged by the husband or presumed by law. So what does this mean practically? If a woman gives birth to a child within 6 lunar months of her marriage, the child is not automatically considered to be the husband's, unless the husband acknowledges the child as his own. Moving on to the maximum gestation period, there is a difference of opinion among the Muslim jurists. According to the Hanfi fiqh, the maximum period a child can remain in the womb is 2 lunar years from conception. The other Sunni schools allow up to 4 lunar years. In modern practice, many Islamic countries such as Egypt have adopted a maximum gestation period of 1 year for legal and practical purposes. According to the Hanfi, Maliki, and Shafi'i fiqh, the mother and her relatives inherit from an illegitimate child just as they would from any other child. For example, the mother is entitled to 1/3 of the estate. If the child has uterine siblings, they also inherit 1/3 collectively. After these shares are distributed, the principle of al-rad is applied if there are no agnatic residuary heirs. It is important to note that an illegitimate child who does not leave behind a son or a son's son will have no agnatic residuary heirs. Now, according to the Hanbali fiqh, the rules are slightly different. If an illegitimate person has no true male agnates, then the male agnatic relatives of the mother inherit as if they were the child's male agnates. In effect, the mother substitutes for the father. But remember, all other heirs who inherit as Quranic heirs receive their shares first, and only then does this substitution take effect. There is a special case regarding the issue of li'an, when a husband imprecates his wife for adultery. Any child born after such a declaration, known as a disavowed child, walad al-mula'ana, is treated as an illegitimate child. In this case, there is no mutual inheritance between the husband and wife after the li'an is completed. Finally, it is important to clarify that in terms of inheritance, there is no difference between a disavowed child, walad al-mula'ana, and a child born out of adultery, walad az-zina. Both are treated in the same manner under Islamic inheritance law. Let's look at an example to understand inheritance of an illegitimate child. Suhail, an illegitimate child, dies leaving behind a mother, a daughter, and a uterine brother. The uterine brother is totally excluded by the daughter. The mother and daughter both inherit as Quranic heirs, the mother inheriting 1/6 share and the daughter 1/2 share. According to the Hanfi and Shafi'i fiqh, the doctrine of al-rad is applied. The mother's share is increased to 1/4 and the daughter's share increased to 3/4. According to the traditional Maliki fiqh, the residue of 1/3 goes to the Bayt al-Mal. According to the Hanbali fiqh, the uterine brother inherits the 1/3 residue. The fact that the deceased person is illegitimate allows the uterine brother to inherit as a residuary, as if he was a male agnate relative. Let's look at another example. Suhail, an illegitimate child, dies, leaving behind a mother, a uterine brother, and a uterine sister. The mother, the uterine brother, and the uterine sister all inherit as Quranic heirs, each one inheriting a 1/6 share. The total sum of shares is 1/2. According to the Hanfi and Shafi'i fiqh, the doctrine of al-rad is applied. The share of each heir is increased to 1/3. According to the traditional Maliki fiqh, residue of 1/2 goes to the Bayt al-Mal. According to the Hanbali fiqh, the uterine brother inherits the 1/2 residue on top of his 1/6 as Quranic heir. The fact that the deceased is illegitimate allows the uterine brother to inherit as a residuary. This brings us to the end of this session. Insha'Allah, see you in the next one.